Sadistic Penguin Studios presents the At the Show podcast with Tom Yumper Garcia.
Okay, you people sit tight, hold the fort, and keep the home fires burning. And if we're not back by dawn, call the president.
And Tony Chalsa Burt.
I don't know this industry jargon, YP, MP, whatever, okay? All I know is that I cannot get a record contract. We cannot get a record contract unless I take these tapes.
It's almost time, so grab a drink, get your popcorn ready, and join the film discussion with two guys from Chicago talking movies.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the At the Show podcast, a podcast that has been in limbo for the past 3 weeks, but we are finally back. I'm with your co-host, Tom Yumper Garcia, and I'm with my other co-host, Tony, the Sugar Baggy Burt. How you doing, Mr. Burt?
Doing pretty good. I was just thinking before we came on the show here, I had a chili relleno, and I was wondering if there ever was a chili relleno eating contest. I want to be a part of it because I love chili rellenos.
Dude, so I've kind of fallen into the old man era of I love spicy food. I've eaten it my whole life, but now I get heartburn if it's super spicy.
Hey, that's okay. That's okay.
And it sucks because I love spicy food, man.
I know I have an ulcer that I just don't really care about too much because I, just like you, cannot stop it. You know, I cannot stop eating those type of goodness.
It's like the salsa.
Oh, if a doctor told me I had to stop, you would definitely, I don't know, I'd be inconsolable. It's really rough because I could quit everything, but I cannot quit chips and salsa. Since I've started, I cannot stop it.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Well, thank you. I'm glad we are in good company here tonight.
So, Tone, we've had a few weeks off. A lot of stuff going on in both our lives, but we are back. Let's just get into our things, man. Let's go and get into our rhythm of things and plow right into the show. I don't know if that's a good euphemism to use, but let's go into this and go what we've been watching this week.
All right.
That's a me. And also, what were you just watching?
So what were you watching this week, my man?
All right. We got 3 things here that I watched over this since we last spoke. We'll start with The Long Walk. It is a Stephen King story. It is currently streaming on Starz. It stars some pretty I thought good actors. One being Cooper Hoffman, Philip Seymour Hoffman's son. Another one being the actor who was in Alien Romulus, who played the droid, who I thought just did a phenomenal job. And they come together. But really the coolest part is Mark Hamill plays the guy who is running this army that is following this walk of 200 kids. And the person who wins the walk wins whatever they want, plus a big boatload worth of cash. It was a very interesting story, and it was actually a lot better than I had anticipated. I like these kind of movies. It's very campy, and Mark Hamill does a great job.
Yeah, it's a book that I haven't read.
Yeah.
I was really getting into the Dark Tower series. So I've never seen the film. I wanted to get back into King. I never read any of the Dark Tower series. I actually read the Gunslinger with the at work, which is actually a very excellent book. So I'm diving into that series of books because I guess I didn't watch Welcome to Derry, but I guess Welcome to Derry kind of puts a lot of stuff on Pennywise's origin, and I wanted to see what was in the Dark Tower that he talks about. Because I know Pennywise is in there, as well as the turtle, and then the guy from The Stand, Flag, Robert Flag, I think his name is. He's
Uh,
in the. Is it Robert Flag? I know it's Flag. His last name is. But his origins and stuff like that, and they're all in this Stephen King universe. So I started reading that stuff. But I do want to eventually get to Long Walk. It's just a long walk getting to there.
I don't blame you. I was able to get stars for $2 for a month, and I said,
Mhm.
"Hey, let's see what they got," which is going to bring me to my second movie, which was Good Fortune, with
Hmm.
Keanu Reeves, Seth Rogen, and uh, uh, Aziz. How do you pronounce it? Aziz Ansar.
Yeah.
Yeah, he directs the movie, and I feel bad not pronouncing his name because I think he honestly movie shocked me. I saw the trailers and I was kind of like, what is this? What is this going to be? This is either going to land or it's going to be not good at all. And to me, I thought it landed pretty well, and the jokes were really hilarious. It's the first thing I've probably seen Seth Rogen in something funny in a really long time. Um, and Keanu, which we'll talk about here in a second with one of your other movies by Ironically. But
Mm.
just a really good movie. Keanu does a good job as a low-level angel who unfortunately doesn't follow the rules, and he unfortunately has his wings taken away, and he's made a human, and he has nothing, no money, no nothing. So he messes up. So he what he ended up doing was switching Anazari and Rogan's lives. And then what ends up happening is he switches Rogan back to his old self, but Anazari's got his life, so he can't take it back. And it's just a ridiculous hodgepodge of silliness. So I definitely suggest this movie.
Hmm. So it's kind of like a little bit of that Chris Rock movie. Remember that one where he?
Yeah, down to earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Keanu, I think, is what makes this movie just probably like Chris Rock did in that one.
Hmm.
He's very dry in this movie, and I like Keanu. He's going for it in this one. Where in John Wick, he's really does a great job in that. But you haven't seen the funny side of Keanu too much instead of like Bill and Ted's recently. So it was happy and good to see.
That's pretty cool. I actually wanted to check this movie out as well. Aziz is he's actually really funny. I know he went through some allegations and whatnot. I don't know the outcome of those, but assuming since Seth Rogen is working with him, uh, he was cleared. I don't know. I'm not. Don't quote
That's
me on
that's
that.
pretty serious on
Yeah.
working with
So
people. So yeah.
yeah. But I've heard really, really good things about this film. My brother saw it; he loved it. It's another film that's on my list that I eventually want to get to. So I'm looking forward to it.
And very rarely do I say, when you get an opportunity for this next movie I'm going to talk about, I definitely suggest you put this to the top of your list.
Mhm,
Crime 101. Me and Katie went to the movies and we checked it out.
mhm.
I saw Katie. What was funny was I was like, Katie, let's go see Crime 101. She's like, didn't you see the trailer? Like when we saw Black Phone 2 and you said it looks stupid. And
Mhm.
I was like, maybe I did say that. But this other trailer I saw, and I'm reading the reviews, and the reviews pretty much said it was like Heat. Not quite as good, but like Heat. And I'm always game for these movies. Mark Ruffalo, Chris Hemsworth, Halle Berry, Barry Keoghan, who I think is, and a lot of other actors are in this too. Nick Nolte shows up in a really
Oh, wow.
interesting role. Um, but this movie, honestly, I love this movie a lot. And I'm always the type of person that when I hear or see something new I like, I could start talking real crazy. But I liked it a lot. I could say I liked it as much as I liked Heat the first time I saw it. I'm not gonna say it's a better movie. I just liked the movie a lot. I like Chris Hemsworth and I'm not a fan. I mean, I could not even tell you I'm a fan of like Chris Hemsworth as a whole. As I made a joke to Katie, is I always think of him in the Vacation remake.
Mhm.
And so like I'm not thinking of him, but he really nails this role a lot. Ruffalo does a good job, and all the other players, and Halle Berry is still pretty good at her age. So this one I would suggest putting to the top of your list.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Yep.
Halle Berry, man, she does not age at all.
No,
Uh,
no.
but yeah, to be honest with you, I haven't heard of this one. which is
It came out a couple weeks ago. It kind of like snuck out. I don't even know if it's still at the theater anymore, but it was up to this, and there was a new one with Sam Rockwell, and we picked this one. Either one of them would have been a good pick, but I was shocked because there's a lot of twists and turns in this movie.
Mhm.
Because it kind of comes across as they compared this movie. It said like Heat meets Thomas Crown Affair, so you get a lot of like that. There's a heist going on, and there's a who's screwing who over, which is a really good element. So, but definitely check it out, dude.
I definitely will. Gordo says you stumped me. Yeah,
Oh,
Gordo. I mean, there's so many movies coming out these days, man.
it's tough. It's tough. I mean, a couple of these movies you got on your list, Badlands, I had to hurry up and watch that because I wanted to be able to join the conversation with you.
Yeah, so we can start with Badlands, man. It was a film that I wanted to go see in theaters. We just never got around to it. But I finally just bit the bullet. It's crazy because I bought it, but I did get a good thing because they gave me Badlands in UHD, which doesn't really matter. But Badlands, and they gave me the original Predator,
Mm.
so I got those bundled, which is kind of cool. But I watched it a few weeks ago when our first week off, and man, I thought it was gonna be like because it was rated in the PG-13, I believe. I thought it was gonna be kind of watered down after Shane Black's The Predator. Um, I didn't really have a lot of faith going into it, and then I watched Prey, which I thought was exceptionally good. I watched this film and I really enjoyed it. I love the fact it's from the predator's point of view. It's not from the person that's always trying to hunt. It's actually gives it more of a backstory of a little bit into the predator culture, a little play with the comics, a little bit of what the predator lifestyle is. It makes the predator have character, even though he's a mindless. He's very big on killing things, and you have to be the strongest, but it gives him a little bit of character. And I love the fact that they have the android that kind of like is its muse that kind of helps it express itself better. Um, just an overall great story. I know they left a sort of cliffhanger at the end. I really enjoyed the film. What do you think about it? Oh, Tony froze. Lucky Spag says it was a good movie. Yeah, man, it really surprised me that this film was that good. I was extremely happy about the way the
Okay.
film carried. Yeah, you're
Okay.
back.
All right. So what I was going to say is that the movie is really shot well. A lot of good stuff going on in the movie.
Yeah, I thought the scenery was really, really cool. I do like how they had like the two twists at the end with the monster and then also with his like little storyline. To me it was, and his dad looked badass, the gray hair.
He was the coolest part. He was probably my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was shot
Yeah.
very, very well. Lucky Spags, long listener and big lurker, LOL.
Big lurk. Love it. Keep lurking.
But yeah, if you haven't seen Badlands, I highly, advise you to do so. I think the Predator franchise is on a good trajectory. I mean, we had Prey, we have Badlands. Hopefully, the next one that comes out it's even better. But it makes me excited because it's doing something different with a franchise that needs to have something different done with it.
Yeah, I mean, especially after the Alien versus Predator movies, they needed to do
Yes.
some hard reset.
Yeah, and I like that they're doing that. And me and you both crap on reboots and remakes, and I mean, I have the show a cotton about it. But if you're doing a reboot to a series, this is like the best way to do with the last two movies.
The way they snuck up and the way he made them, he's a really good director.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen Predator Badlands, I highly advise you to do so. Another film I watched was Johnny Mnemonic, and the reason I watched it because I saw it on Netflix, and I'm like, man, I haven't seen this movie in like 20 years, and I couldn't remember it. And I remembered it was before The Matrix. It was during a time where we were doing all these computer movies like The Lawnmower Man, Hackers, but I couldn't remember like the whole storyline of it. So I watched it. Man, if you love the game Cyberpunk, you see so many similarities in this movie and where they got their content and ideas from. Because this is basically the movie Cyberpunk, just that he has data in his head instead of Johnny Silverhand. But I liked it a lot. I really enjoyed it. It's corny as hell, the CGI does have its downfalls. It does show its age, but it still brought me back to that nostalgia of, man, this shit when it was back out in '95, it must have looked awesome. Um, it shows me a pre Keanu Matrix, before he hit his superstardom, and this is like one of his leading roles that is leading up to that eventual hit in 4 years. I really enjoyed it, man, and it has Dolph Lundgren as the preacher, which cracks me up. Also, Henry Collins as a doctor. Not Henry Collins. What's his name? The punk rocker, Henry Rollins.
Henry Rollins.
He's a doctor. Yeah.
Doctor.
Just a great film. Dina Meyer from Starship Troopers is in it. Her first lead role. Just a lot of good things in it, man. What'd you think of Johnny Mnemonic?
There's a line that all through high school, pretty much me and a friend would do. It's a Dolph Lundgren line in the movie. He puts his hand out when he's trying to stop the car and he goes, "Halt, sinners." And we would just go up to every car that would stop and we would just be like, "Halt, sinners." Just a really, like you said, at the time it was ridiculous. Now you look back and it's even cool for all the things that they were trying to do at the time. There's so many movies that probably wouldn't have been made if they didn't have this as a blueprint to do those movies.
Yeah, especially the reveal of Jones.
Yeah.
It's Jones, man. I see this Jones. That always made me laugh. It's Jones, man. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, you want to see like where the ideas of cyberpunk and all these other things got. Check out Johnny Mnemonic. It's aged pretty well. And then the final movie I watched, which I had to watch in 2 parts because I started it when I was extremely tired and I wanted to continue watching it, but I couldn't, is The Killer. And it's a Netflix-based movie. It's by David Fincher, who is one of my all-time favorite directors. And Fincher is known for telling stories. This film is based off a book, I believe a French book. Very limited cast in terms of starring wise. Michael Fassbender is in it, and he does an excellent job. It's basically the following of a hitman on a hitman that a hit goes wrong. My thing about it was I loved that it was, again, a different perspective of the hitman. It was mostly narrated by Fassbender, and I thought it was paced very well by him narrating it. His acting in it is phenomenal. You could tell he's an introvert. You could tell he might have some mental issues in terms of maybe autism or something. But like his interactions with people, the way he talks about the way he does his craft, the way he views society. It's just, I loved it, everything about it. I thought it was shot very well. It was, like, again, paced very well for a 2-hour movie. When I watched the rest of it the second time, it didn't feel like a 2-hour movie. And it had a very, to me, a great ending that was left open. I just loved everything about it. I can rave about it forever. I love David Fincher, and knowing Fincher directed it gave me a lot more desire to watch it. But after I watched it, I'm like, even Fincher didn't direct it, I would have thought it was a great film. What'd you think about The Killer?
You said it you took one of my lines. I was going to say it was shot very well. Which again, it's David Fincher. You know, how many times have we talked about all of his great work on the show here? So you're in the hands of an excellent director, and I'm a huge Michael Fassbender fan. I wish he does more work because I love to see him in more stuff. But everything else that you said, I would agree with. It's a really good movie.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. I did think he was fighting Roman Reigns when he fights the Brute. I thought it was Roman Reigns because I didn't see the guy's face and then it wasn't. But I totally thought he was fighting Roman Reigns, which would have made it even funnier. But yeah, and he's kind of an anti-hero, like The Killer. He has good things about him and bad things. So if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out, man. We had we were gone for a while, but we had an array of really, really good films to check out.
Yeah.
That we talked about we were watching. So this is what we watched this week. Let us know what you watched over at the show pod on X or Twitter, or in the Sadistic Penguin Studios Facebook page, or even in these YouTube comments. Let us know what you watched these past couple weeks, Tone.
Yeah.
So with that, Tone, moving on to news. There's a lot of news these past few weeks, my man, starting with the untimely death of a Hollywood legend of Robert Duvall. He passed away, I believe, at the age of 95, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe
Um,
that's what it was.
a very long life, exceptional career. Even in his older age, he was doing great films. Um, what's your favorite Duvall film that isn't The Godfather?
Oh, um, he, I, he's got so many movies.
Mhm.
It's tough, you know. His the favorite movie. Why don't you go first so I can really go deep on this answer for 2 seconds? Go ahead.
So there's two films that stick out to me. One being The Judge. I really liked it in his latter role. Uh, really loved that film. Him and Downey's dynamic was very good. The second film is Colors.
Oh, Color.
Loved Colors with Sean Penn, even though it's more later, a little bit later in his career, but he's playing that veteran cop. I just love that dynamic of him. I did really like that Adam. I was watching the James Bond show that you guys did,
Yeah.
and he mentioned Open Range, and that's a
Mhm.
great film too with Kevin Costner. But my two would always have to be The Judge and Colors. Those are my two favorite Duvall films.
I like for me, I know it's a small role, but his role in Apocalypse Now
Hmm.
to me is very legendary. I always like this movie he's in. It's a 90s movie. It's him and it's James Earl Jones. It's called A Family Thing.
Hmm.
And they end up thinking that they are brothers and they got to like end up trying to like live together. That's a good one. One of your favorite movies, The Natural. I think he's great in. Um, Days of Thunder, Gone in 60 Seconds. A lot of good roles, man. A lot of good roles.
Yeah, legendary actor. The outfit he was in, uh, the Invasion of the Body Snatchers. He was actually the priest that was on the swing in the beginning of the film, which not a lot of people know. Like that he does like so many like little iconic roles. Um, and then one of his later roles he just did was Hustle with Adam Sandler. Even though he was a small role, he was the owner. He actually pretty decent. He was aging, you could tell, but he still was
Was.
all there. He was still there in terms of he has his acting chops for smaller roles, which I really appreciated. And then if you want to do more of an action role that he did the John Wick, the Jack Reacher film where he was a sniper guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Uh,
He had so a big career, man. I liked him in We Own the Night.
mhm.
He was good from the beginning to the end. He's good in Widows. Came out right after The Judge. Good stuff.
Yeah, just a legendary actor. Fun trivia fact about him is he was the person that used to wear Marlon Brando's lines on his chest because Brando didn't memorize his lines for The Godfather.
Uh,
So Duvall actually was the person wearing them, and there's actually pictures of him wearing them while
oh,
Brando's reciting his lines. It's just him standing there with this big old sign on him, and like a cue card on him. But legendary actor, he lived a full life, but really appreciative for what he gave us in terms of film. Just loved everything he did.
yeah, definitely.
What other news you got, my man?
Sad passing of Tom Noonan.
Oh yes,
Tom Noonan, who I mentioned earlier in Heat.
Kane.
But also, if you're looking for something really creepy, is him in Manhunter. He is the killer in Manhunter. Really good job in that. If you're looking for comedy, he's great with Rodney Dangerfield and Joe Pesci in Easy Money.
Yes.
A lot of good stuff, man. A lot of good stuff and sad passing.
Yeah, he's also in RoboCop 2 as Kane,
Oh yeah,
the main villain in that film. That's where I was first introduced to him. Then, of course, I watched the Easy Money and then Manhunter. He's also in FX,
Oh,
the
good
Brian
movie.
Dennehy film.
That's a great movie.
I think he did an episode of Tales from the Dark Side, if I'm not mistaken, like the series. And I think he's in Last Action Hero as a Ripper.
Oh, that is a good role too.
Yeah.
Really good role. Monster Squad, Frankenstein's monster.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
Yeah, just a guy that you've seen in a lot of movies that has that face, but
You were
you're like,
right on Tales from the Dark Side. He was in that.
Oh yes, I remember seeing him in that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a guy you've seen in a lot of movies, and you're like, oh man, I know him from somewhere. But
Eight-legged freaks.
oh, he was in
Plays
Later Freak.
Joshua. He plays the guy who's running the spider thing that the boy
Oh,
goes.
he does. Yeah, the guy who dies in the beginning.
Yeah, that's a cool movie though.
Yeah, just like a lot of small roles that is just he's there though. He's that guy.
That's that guy.
Yeah. Sad passing, man.
Yeah, but another sad pass, and that's what I got.
Yeah, and young, very young too. I think it's 65, which is
Yeah.
it's 75. It's still young. That's 70 to 75 still young. It's 75 is a new 65. Um, it is. But it sucks, man. Like I said, so we always talk about how our legends of the past, and I mean Tom Noonan was a good actor, he's not a legend, but like Duvall, those legends that we grew up with are, slowly fading.
That's true.
And it's time for new legends to take the mantle, as they say.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I do have a news in terms of film. So I know I texted you this the other day. I happened to finally watch the Mortal Kombat 2 trailer,
Oh,
which I think looks awesome. We have, you know what? We have to plan a day to go see that, me and you,
yeah.
in the theater to enjoy it because we haven't had a movie night out or
Oh,
hang out for that. So we have to go see it to go see this film. I really like the remake that they did for that came out HBO Max where everybody was complaining, but it came out in COVID. So what are you gonna do? But
mm,
Carl Urban takes on the role of Johnny Cage, which is probably one of my favorite characters in video games, uh, which looks really awesome. But I noticed that they watered down the role of Cole, which was the previous star of the original film, the reboot. So of course, since this whole thing that we're doing today is fan theories, there's a lot of people saying that he's actually killed off to make Johnny Cage the new focal point of the series, which to me is kind of weird because I believe he signed a 4-picture deal.
yeah. I don't know.
Um,
That's interesting.
what would you think of that? Like, would you think that would be a good thing to kill him off?
Well, I mean, it always goes down to when you see the script as a whole. Is it going to
Mhm.
work? Does it really work? I don't know yet, but it's definitely intriguing when you bring up the concept.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that it's something like a Mortal Kombat 2 where he's kidnapped and he doesn't have a big role.
Hmm.
Uh, because I think to me, it's you spent so much. Even though I didn't like the character from the original, he was the weakest part of the movie. You
Hmm.
still spent so much time building him up to just kill him off. Like it's kind of like what they did in the Annihilation when they killed Johnny Cage off. They killed him off in like the first 5 minutes of the film.
Sometimes the writing is stupid when they do that, but we'll see.
Yeah, all we can do is hope. I know the original executive producer on the previous film wrote this one too. So I'll see how the vision it goes because I know there's going to be 3 films. There was one before the tournament. This one's going to be the one in the tournament, and then the one after the tournament. So it's going to be a trilogy, which I'm looking forward to. And I really like I said, I liked the previous one that Simon McCoy did, and I'm looking forward to this one. So we have to get together to go watch this one, man.
Yeah, I'm going to be game for that.
Yeah. So, are there any other films that you're really, really looking forward to?
I mean, there is what we got that Masters of the Universe trailer I thought looked really good. You there's I know right now currently Scorsese's filming something with DiCaprio, some kind of mob movie, which I'll always be down to go see. I know this summer there's going to be honestly even something like the new Toy Story. Um,
Hmm.
I didn't realize the first one came out all the way back in '95. I mean, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, I remember when that came out. I was 10,
Um,
and we got the bootleg.
and that's so a lot of stuff coming out, and honestly, a lot of good horror movies coming out. I like the first Ready or Not. I guess Ready or Not 2 is coming out.
Hmm.
That sounds really cool and interesting. So, which David Cronenberg plays Michelle Gellar's dad in the movie, which sounds interesting.
Oh,
So, yeah, things like that, man. I'm always game to see anything like that.
that sounds pretty cool. And speaking of horror movies, Scream 7 came out. I was invited to go watch that film, but I couldn't because work. And after Scream 6, my lust to go see those films has kind of died out. But the person that got me into horror, my mother actually went and saw it, and she told me that she loved it. My brother told me he really liked it. Um, Now I'm not gonna go see it in theater. I'll wait till it comes out to stream, but I'm hearing some good things about it. And then you got the Scary Movie franchise coming back too.
Oh, I'm excited about that. I forgot about. I just saw that new trailer. Now that's
Yeah,
something I'm excited about.
with the Wayans brothers at the helm. So
Mhm.
there's some good stuff coming out there. But Tone, that's it for the news and rumors this week. We'll have some more when we come back.
Awesome.
With that, my man, let's talk about this episode. So we always read stuff online, whether it be on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, Jesus Christ, Twitter, about theories about what's going on and stuff like that. Why not do a fan movie theory thing? Now, when we do our deep dives, we always have a fan theory at the end that we go into. Why not make a show about the whole thing, man? A whole thing on fan theories that we get from people we pull from the internet and just give a little discussion about it and let our listeners decide what they think about it.
I think that's a great idea.
All right, my man. Were you ready to get into these fan theories?
Let's do it.
Cool. So the first fan theory I have is from the glorious world of Reddit. It is from our favorite fan theories Reddit subpoet Reddit called Fan Theories. And it's done by a guy by the name of Thunderdome, aka Doom. So it's either Doom or Dome. I don't know. But he or she gives us a great theory that says Ferris and Sloane are figment of Cameron's imagination in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Mhm.
Here's the theory. Cameron creates Ferris in his mind. Ferris is a total opposite of Cameron. He's fun, spontaneous, and has a loving family and a foxy girlfriend. At the beginning of the film, the imaginary Ferris convinces a bedridden Cameron to borrow his dad's Ferrari 250 GT, California, and cruise it all over Chicago. Given Cameron's crushing social incompetence, it's likely that Sloane is fictional too and represents a girl that he has a crush on. The theory explains that more fantastic elements of the film. For example, the whole city of Chicago rallies around a sick Ferris. This represents Cameron's miserable life at home and how he yearns for friends and family who give a shit. Or perhaps Bueller is a guy Cameron knows but isn't friends with, and his fantasy is based on what he imagines life to be like for the popular kids at school. Everything is easy and the world revolves around them. When Cameron accidentally trashes his father's Ferrari at the film's climax, he realizes that he needs to stick up to his father and take responsibility for his own life. At this point, he disposes of Ferris and Sloane. Both of the fictional friends receive happy endings. Sloane is left pondering marrying Ferris, whereas Ferris safely returns home where he can break the fourth wall for eternity. What do you think about that?
That's interesting. That's very interesting. And honestly, could make the movie kind of cool sci-fi Johnny Mnemonic if you think about it.
Yeah, it really could. It does. He does have a lot of good points about how Ferris is that guy that he wants to be, and Sloane is the girl he wants to be with. If you look at, like, you just take Ferris Bueller, and it's like the way it looks and the way it's like the sequence of events, everything does kind of revolve around Ferris in terms of everybody loves him, and he somehow gets to perform at a parade his dad doesn't know he's performing yet, but dancing in the window at. It's just a lot of stuff that has to go right for him to, have a story go through. Of course, I think he's a real person, but it's pretty crazy that Cameron could be thinking about him. There is another example too when he says, "I'm dying," and Ferris calls right back and says, "You're not," and nobody picks up the phone. He just calls right back and says, "You're not dying. You just can't think of anything good to do," which is kind of like who answered the phone, but it always cracks me up when Cameron was in Egypt's land.
When Cameron, I love that stuff.
But man, that was a really good fan theory. A short one, but a good one, my man. What you got?
Which kind of piggybacks off of what you said. I kind of read this one and I thought it was kind of interesting. This is a fan theory that I read that this is from the movie Grease.
Mm-hmm.
That suggests that Sandy Olsen in the very beginning of the movie, she drowns during the beach scene in the very opening of Summer Nights. And the whole movie is her coma-induced fantasy. As her brain shuts down, she imagines a perfect, unlikely high school year culminating in the flying car scene, which symbolizes her ascending to heaven. Some key elements of the Dead Sandy theory. The drowning. Danny's lyrics, I saved her life, she nearly drowned, are interpreted to mean he failed and she actually died. Idolized fantasy, the magical nature of the school year, sudden musical numbers, Rizzo's pregnancy scare disappearing, the effortless happy ending are viewed as signs of a dying dream. The flying car, of course, the ascension to heaven, and some of the responses and variations. John Travolta's take, Danny addressed the theory saying, I loved it. Imaginations are awesome, although he notes the original intention was likely a happy ending. The creator of this dismissed the theory, stating Sandy was very much alive. But the alternative theory to all of this is a similar, less popular theory suggests that Danny died in a car race, and the rest of the movie is his afterlife, explaining why Sandy suddenly changes into a girl who fits up perfectly with his crowd. Yeah, so very interesting, and I honestly, I'm not even a huge Grease fan, but the times I've had to watch it or have watched it, this would have made it a lot cooler to think about.
I like your precursor, the times I had to watch it.
I did. It was a big movie that my mother and my sisters like to watch, and I watch it now. I think it's kind of cheesy. I think that's my point, is like, I don't like, it's like almost too perfect, and I don't like perfect things like that. So
it's extremely cheesy. I'm not a huge Grease fan either. It is what it is.
Interesting to think.
Yeah, it is what it is in terms of its place in history. Very, very good concept, because I always thought it was kind of weird. You had the greasers and the pink ladies. The pink ladies. I'm like, what the hell, the pink ladies? But the part at the end, now that I was thinking about it, when they're saying it's ascended to heaven, that part, when I was watching, I'm like, what the hell is happening? Why are they flying off? That made no sense to me. But if she's dead and she's going to heaven with her love of her life, then that makes sense. Maybe they both died. Maybe he died in a car crash and she died in drowning, and they reunited in purgatory, and Grease came out of it, because they should have left it at that, because Grease 2 sucked.
And also, please tell me then that the real sequel to Grease is Broken Arrow. I'm hoping you got that next. That's the next.
My God, I have not seen that film in so long. Oh my God, it's a great movie though. All right, here is my second one, and this one has to do with Pulp Fiction. The Briefcase. Now, there's been several theories on the briefcase telling that they believe it contains Marcellus Wallace's soul. This is a different kind of little caveat and difference from it. It says, I think I've come up with it. The contents of the briefcase, Marcellus Wallace's briefcase, is actually God. My proof? The boys who had the briefcase in possession of the briefcase, they were safe. When they gave it up, especially when they gave it to some to save themselves, those who give up the faith to protect the flesh usually suffer consequences, which they all did. Vincent witnessed the contents, but was never truly in possession. He saw, but never accepted. Those who deny God usually suffer consequences. When Vincent was not in the presence or in possession of the briefcase, bad things happened to him. The only time Vincent benefited from the contents of the briefcase, he was with Jules, who, Jules, is truly the shepherd. Think about it. Jules never actually looked in the briefcase, but he accepted the contents unconditionally. He took possession of the briefcase. He refused to give up the briefcase. Jules walks away from end credits, basically unscathed and having shown the contents of the briefcase to the robbers in the diner. Forgives and sends them into the world, which brings us to Pumpkin and Honey Bun. Lost souls walking the path of the evil man until Jules shows them the contents of the briefcase, at which point, having been saved by the shepherd, walk away unscathed, even benefiting from having witnessed Marcellus. Marcellus was perfectly fine until he lost his briefcase and tragedy befell him. Lose God, suffer the consequences. But still alive because he was seeking the return of the briefcase. He was not found, but he was not all the way lost either. Mia partakes in the poisonous fruit of the non-believer, Vincent's drugs. bad things happen. Butch, tenuously connected to the briefcase, doesn't die because of it, but not protected by it either. Butch is the religious ignorance. The final piece of the puzzle, I've heard or read interviews from multiple actors from the film who have said that Tarantino told them that the briefcase contains whatever you want it to be. Isn't God what you want him to be? A common and accepted depiction. It all makes sense. What do you think about that?
That's a crazy theory, right there, but also crazily cool if you really think about it. But I don't know. I don't know on that one. That one's going to be when I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night and like, what?
Yeah, it threw me through a loop because I'm like, man, you put this towards religion, but he gave so many good examples. This person gave so many good examples. Citizen 386 gave so many good examples that I was like, wow, he's really fighting for it. And the response to it's pretty funny. I wonder what Quentin Tarantino would say about this. This is complete bullshit. It doesn't involve feet. that cracked me up. But the theory I thought was very, very well done.
I think that really well put together. This is a style that I actually never tried to do, but it's very fun to make these theories.
Yeah, I think you have to have an extraordinary imagination to do so.
Oh, yeah.
And I unfortunately don't have that.
Well, you know what? Now I got to write the Grease to Broken Arrow for you. So you can
so-
purposely see that it could happen.
Yeah, let's do it. A Tony the Sugar Baggy Burt production.
There you go. It could be a new segment.
So what you got, my man?
So to piggyback off of yours, because also the whole soul thing is been around for a while. It's funny that you brought up Tarantino because he actually said it could be whatever you want it to be. Some other theories going against the briefcase, and even it's crazy because now there's like 7 theories. You got the soul theory, you got the theory you said. Someone thinks, I read one theory that they think that the diamonds from Reservoir Dogs. Popular shared universe theory suggests that the briefcase holds the jewels from Tarantino's previous film. Someone else stated Elvis's gold suit, a theory that it contains the suit worn by Elvis in the movie True Romance, which was written by Tarantino. Radioactive material. Some fans believe the golden glow suggests a radioactive device inspired by the film Kiss Me Deadly. And as you were kind of saying, God or another kind of holy grail religious artifact. When you put that all together, and Tarantino never says what it really is, it's kind of actually really cool that you could write something like that in a movie and have that many kind of theories.
Yeah, especially like a classic film that is on top, like a top 10 of a lot of people's films list.
Yeah.
That it could still be talked about that way, and you left it open-ended in a good way, which I thought was awesome. I do like that aspect about Tarantino's writing, that a lot of stuff is kind of not fully explained, and he tries to do it in his other films. I know he wanted to do a film with the Vega brothers. Of course, that's never going to happen for when Michael Madsen has passed. And John Travolta is also in his, I think, 70s or late 60s. But he eventually wanted to do a film with them and to explain their background. But like, if you notice in Reservoir Dogs, he mentions Alabama, with I guess the character of Harvey Keitel is supposed to be the guy from True Romance that she fell in love with, because she's mentioning it. And then he has like a little thing in Pulp Fiction where one of the characters is mentioned in there as well. But he ties the whole thing together in terms of universe. So I guess his theories for his films can be really, really fleshed out very well. Definitely. Cool. So I have another one, and this one has to do with signs. It says, once I heard one theory given the overt biblical themes and imagery throughout signs, it's not a far leap to assume that the aliens are also related to something biblical in nature, as each of the characters in the film struggles inwardly with their own demons. The aliens become an outward manifestation of physical demons. The first clue to this intention is a crop circle, clearly arranged in the shape of a pitchfork. The second is differing opinions and views of creatures as the public becomes more aware of them. Demons are often said to take on form of their audience's expectations. Shyamalan poised through this film that in the modern day, most people are conditioned to see demons as a hoax or as otherworldly, non-spiritual creatures like aliens. As such, it's no such coincidence that aliens start appearing around the same time the main character, Graham Hess, admits to losing his faith. Similar to Jacob's Ladder, Signs draws the protagonist through a hell of his own creation until he confronts his own demons and finds peace. What do you think about that?
Oh, I like that one. It's probably one of my favorite ones so far. Very interesting.
Yeah, and Signs, I thought, it's kind of like M. Night Shyamalan had like a roller coaster career. He started off so high, and then you get to Signs, and then you get The Village, then you get The Happening.
Oh, Lady in the Water.
Lady in the Water, and then you're going back up, and you're going up to what was the other film that brought him back? Split.
Yeah. Split was really good.
And then the film that after that, where he put all four characters, Mr. Glass, and then those films brought him back to prominence, which I thought was awesome. Like I was a person who loved horror his whole life. I love the fact that he's coming back, but like Signs, I thought was put together so great. And I love the way he wrote the story about a person losing their faith. And I don't know if it's per se more about demons, but I think it's more about the coincidences in life that we just ignore when the universe is reaching out to you to tell you certain things. It's kind of like that quote. I forget it's from who says it, but like nobody can ever escape their own destiny. It just it puts itself in there for you.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm into stuff like that. That's where I love stuff like you're talking about right now. Because you really sometimes even when you're born, your story's already written. You just got to kind of like live it. And if you didn't, that's a good theory of what you're talking about in Signs.
Yeah. What you got, my man?
Okay, what I got, and this one kind of piggies back off of the Shaken Not Stirred James Bond show, is that Michael Bay's 1996 film The Rock is actually a secret Bond sequel. He escapes from Sean Connery plays a disavowed ex-spy who has been sentenced to years in a high-security prison. According to this theory, Connery's character, referred to as John Mason, is in fact an older version of James Bond. The timeline adds up, and it's stated in the film that John Mason isn't his real name. The theory is certainly compelling, but maybe not intentional. Jerry Bruckheimer denied that the thought had entered the writer's minds. Even with all that carefully corroborated details, dates, and cloak and dagger tactics that John Mason may have put into effect to hide his true identity, the one thing that can't be ignored is just how unshameably Bond he is throughout the film and the subtle winks he gives into the early spy years. To begin with, there's his introduction to Nicolas Cage's chemical freak during that interrogation. At the unprepared chemist stumbles over introducing himself as Stanley Goodspeed, Mason replies with, "But of course you are." This is the same line that Bond says in Diamonds Are Forever, Connery's last canon appearance as the secret agent and around the time when he could have stolen the microfilm in The Rock. It's also worth noting that while it may have been all a part of Mason's plan to escape the FBI's grasp to reunite with his daughter, our hero demands a suit, a shower, a shave, and the feel of a new suit. Something that James Bond can't complete a mission without. Additionally, there's also Mason mentioning after being overwhelmed by all the modern equipment to infiltrate Alcatraz. In my day, we did it in all with a snorkel and a pair of flippers, possibly giving nod to Bond's 1965 film Thunderball, which is heavily set underwater. Ultimately, with the conspiracy of a cocktail made in just right way, this is a fan theory that actually holds up. But it makes it even better with Bond. I found this one on Looper. This was an interesting read.
That's extremely interesting. I've heard this one before. And you know, it's believable because they leave his backstory so open. You didn't ever really explain him. One of the things I did like about the film The Rock is when they say that he talks about the alien landing at Roswell.
Oh, yeah.
He exposes them for that, which I thought was pretty cool. But I think even though they say they didn't intentionally leave it there for like a Bond opening, you have like the greatest James Bond in people's minds as a spy that's from her lady's magical court, as he says.
That's true.
So that was actually really believable.
Yeah, I mean, when you really think about it, even if it's not, it's so close to being believable that it's makes The Rock even more cooler.
Yeah, that's a cool one. Okay, my friend, I have 4 more left, and they're a little long in the tooth, except for this one. So I'm gonna go with the short one first. So we all know that there have been theories about the 3 seashells in Demolition Man.
Oh, yeah.
So this is an alternate explanation for the 3 seashells. Sometime after Demolition Man was released, Sylvester Stallone revealed that a screenwriter on the film explained to him how to use the 3 seashells. Use the first and second like chopsticks to pull out the feces of Uranus. Then use the third to scrape away the waste. I never thought this was a particularly good explanation. Pooping doesn't work that way. One swipe with a seashell would almost most certainly be not enough to clean everything. I vaguely suspect the screenwriter told this to Stallone, who was messing with him. So I got a different interpretation. The 3 seashells are actually buttons. The first washes away feces with a jet of water. The second dries your posterior with a blast of air. And the third gives you a dusting of talcum powder or similar for a pleasant smell. You never actually see anyone pick up the seashells, so we don't know what they could have been used for. But this is my theory. For a theory to be talking about pooping, this theory is all over the movie verse.
It is. And I've often wanted to know about those shells, and now I guess I got more of a mental image.
Breaking news. Max Crosby has been traded to the Ravens for a 2026 and 2027 first round picks.
Oh, no.
No Bears.
No Bears. That's sad.
It's kind of funny that came out when we were talking about poop. So poop.
Yes, it is.
You got any more?
Yes. Before I read these two, well, the first one is, do you have anything on your end on Star Wars or no?
No.
Okay, so I just don't want it to. Okay, here we go. This is the one I got, which I think is ridiculous. The most prominent fan theory, and this is about Jar Jar Binks, and that he was designed to be a brilliant secret Sith Lord called Darth Jar Jar, who manipulated events behind a bumbling innocent facade. Supporters argue his clumsy, lucky movements are actually drunken fist martial arts, and he uses force-influenced mind tricks that he was meant to be the ultimate antagonist. That's ridiculous, but there's some key elements here. They argue that Jar Jar intended to be the prequel trilogy's true Phantom Menace, working alongside or even manipulating Chancellor Palpatine. Supporters point to his 20-foot jump, similar to Force Jump, uncanny luck in battle, and hand movements that mimic Jedi mind tricks. Strategic influences, he constantly influences key political decisions, such as calling for supreme power to be given to Palpatine in Attack of the Clones. Original plan is the theory suggests George Lucas intended for a reveal of Jar Jar as a villain, but abandoned the plan after the character's poor reception at the Phantom Menace, replacing him with Count Dooku. Supporting observation and evidence is his techniques, is his combat styles compared to Zhu Quan, where a fighter actually uncoordinated to confuse opponents. He demonstrates extreme agility, precision during the Battle of Nu, suggesting the clumsiness and ruse. He is constantly close to pivotal events and powerful individuals, Qui-Gon, Padme, Anakin. While this theory is wildly popular at times in the community, it has not been officially confirmed by Disney or George Lucas and is largely considered creative, albeit unlikely. But Star Wars media has acknowledged the Darth Jar Jar meme with a 2026 comic highlighting a close yet non-Sith relationship with Palpatine.
So I've heard this. I think Robot Chicken actually did a Darth Jar Jar. Which I thought was hilarious. I think Terezi has discussed this with us when he was on a while ago. But Yeah, it's pretty funny. It would be hilarious. I was hoping in the new films they bring him back as a bad guy.
Yeah,
That would be awesome.
let's just make a standalone Jar Jar Binks movie. See what
And
people
for
think.
all the shit he got, Jar Jar, um,
He wasn't why the movie. To me, he wasn't why the movie was
no,
the best.
he wasn't why the movie's blue. It was just bad.
Bad script, dated. Now it looks dated technology. It doesn't look.
Yeah, it was just George Lucas not writing a good script.
Nope.
But I'm all here for the Dark Jar Jar.
Oh yeah, I need a poster of that.
So, my friend, I have a theory with one of our favorite actors of all time, Kurt Russell.
All right.
This is actually from a WordPress post in 2017 by a person named Ahead of Wolves, and it's from the Fifth Wall Movies Crawl website. It says, my theory that Kurt Russell's characters are actually all the same person.
Ooh,
He says,
I like this.
Kurt Russell is one of my favorite actors to watch. His plunky charm seems to radiate from his somehow perfectly round and perfectly sharp at the same time face. Even in the roles like McGreedy from The Thing or Snake Plissken from Escape from New York and Escape from LA roles, he plays hardened men with no love for the world. Russell still brings that tongue-in-cheek element to them, peppered with spice only he has. One of the fun things to watch an actor do for me is to use their roles to explore different sides of themselves. In this way, with some actors, each role they play becomes essentially a different version of themselves, the same character reacting to a different set of circumstances. So I submit to you some of Kurt Russell's characters are actually all the same person. He changes his name and moves from place to place or time to time, but he's the same character. This doesn't line up with every single Kurt Russell movie he has done, but more than a few of them line up for me. He goes, spoilers to follow. Here's how I see it. The first one he gives us is The Thing. Kurt Russell's a helicopter pilot stuck at Outpost 31 in Antarctica, has quite a day fighting off John Carpenter aliens that can assume any organic form. After the alien kills everyone but two people, Kurt Russell ominously blows it to hell with dynamite. Needless to say, Kurt Russell has seen some shit at this point. He watched all his friends die brutally and is now most likely questioning reality. Kurt Russell needs a break, so he manages to make his way to the States and picks up a job as a truck driver, which transitions to Big Trouble in Little China.
Ooh.
After going a little insane because of an event in Antarctica, Kurt Russell has donned a new attitude towards life. I'm a reasonable guy, but I just experienced some very unreasonable things. Kurt Russell as Jack Burton in Big Trouble in Little China. Kurt Russell ends up leading a group of ragtag do-gooders to rescue his friend's fiancée from an ancient, evil, mystical Chinese sorcerer. He somehow manages to keep his cool throughout all of it. After Kurt Russell's experience with aliens and sorcerers, not to mention his tactical experience and his problem-solving skills, Kurt feels that maybe he has a future in law enforcement, which transitions to Tango and Cash. Sir Kurt Russell becomes the greatest police officer that the West Coast has ever seen, contested only by Sylvester Stallone's character in Tango and Cash, a really excellent 90s buddy cop movie. Kurt Russell and Sly are oil and water when it comes to crime fighting, but they have to work together when they're framed for murder. The movie ends with a fiery explosion that would call an apocalypse mobile a modified Chevy Silverado. Now that Kurt Russell has even been more tactical and experience and arguably some paramilitary experience, why not join the U.S. military in Stargate? Kurt Russell becomes a colonel in the U.S. Air Force because of his encounters with aliens and the generally unexplained. Kurt Russell is put in charge of the special team that will travel across the galaxy through a wormhole machine to another planet, get into a fight with more aliens, and save the local prolent from their overlords. If you ever watched the episode of Stargate SG-1, then you know that shenanigans can happen with Stargate. You should be sent to a jail world. You could end up back in Antarctica. You could be sent to a time because of a solar flare, which leads us to Escape from New York and Escape from LA as episodes of Stargate. You could be sent to a jail world where all your crazy experience help you survive and escape the post-apocalyptic island of New York, and then not this episode again where the same damn thing happens in LA. And then we have it Tombstone as an episode of Stargate. You could be sent back into the Old West and become a lawman because you can't get back to your own time, and being a lawman is all you know. This is where Kurt Russell finally gets stuck in the Old West, lives out his life as a lawman, and eventually becomes a bounty hunter in the Hateful Eight. Okay, granted, the Stargate thing kind of sort of breaks everything up. It's not a perfect theory. Okay. Kurt Russell's role as Ego in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 will also allow a blanket theory that he is in fact the same character in every Kurt Russell movie. Honorable mention to Death Proof, which probably fits just after Tango and Cash, somewhere on the account of Kurt Russell's newfound love of extreme automobiling after his ride in the Apocalypse Mobile. That's the end of that one.
Whoa. As a joke, I would have one thing to say to dispute the theory back between when he went from Big Trouble in Little China to Tango and Cash. Big Little Trouble in Little China takes place in San Francisco. Tango and Cash takes place in Los Angeles. If he was to become a police officer in Los Angeles, wouldn't he even need a background check?
Yeah.
That would definitely have brought Jack Burton and all of his bullshit. So a
He saved the
gambler,
world, though.
a gambler for money, he probably wouldn't have got the job.
You leave Jack Burton alone. We are in debt to him.
I was just disappointed to bring up my. Here's a trivia question for you. What Kurt Russell movie have I seen the most? And it's not a John Carpenter movie, and it's an '80s Kurt Russell. This is his wife's in it.
Oh, his wife's in it. Goldie Hawn's in it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Overboard.
Oh, really?
He should have brought in. That was my mom's favorite movie.
Captain Ron?
He should have Captain Ron. He should have brought in Overboard and Captain Ron somewhere. Like he woke up as a pirate. But still, great theory. I loved it. It was good.
Wait, you just thinking about this. Was Captain Ron like a mystical character? Because at the end of the film, he ends up on another boat with a bunch of other people.
That's been a long time since I've seen that movie. I gotta watch that one again.
Yeah. It says, I'm reading the thing where Captain Ron appears to have cleaned up his appearance and quickly taken on a new role as a captain for a young couple in a small motorboat.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
He's a mystical character. That Kurt Russell. Give us your final one, Tone.
All right, here we go. This one, let's see here. Here it is. Theory suggests that the Alien and Avatar franchises share the same universe, with the Na'vi potentially engineered by the same engineers, or which is crazy to think about. Other theories propose that the Na'vi are ancestors of or designed by an advanced race. These theories are driven by similarities in the corporate greed of RDA and the Weyland-Yutani and biological themes. The engineers theory is the Na'vi were created by the engineers from Prometheus to be the perfect beings, as they are master geneticists. This explains the Na'vi's unique humanoid yet distinctly non-Pandoran appearance compared to the native six-limbed fauna. Shared universe. The RDA and Weyland-Yutani corporations share similar cold approaches to planetary colonization, suggesting they may operate in the same timeline. There's an abyss connection. The bioluminescent entities in the abyss share a color palette with the Pandoran Tree of Souls, leading to theories that the NTI, non-terrestrial intelligence, are connected to the Navi's Diete Iwa. EUI as a parasite AI. Theory suggests EUI is a sentient, perhaps even artificial entity that controls all life on Pandora and may have even influenced the Na'vi and become the apex species. Na'vi are human descendants. Some believe the Na'vi are actually descendants of early human interstellar voyage, explaining their bipedal form. All right, there you go.
That's interesting.
I mean, it's always that the companies with the corporate greed, you know what I mean? They should, for those movies, since James Cameron was a part of them, he should just went out and made them both Weyland. Been kind of crazy to scramble people's minds, but yep, that's that one.
I wish I could get more into it, but I really don't like Avatar.
I don't like it either. But what gets me excited is that if the aliens could go into Avatar and start ripping up the the world, I'd be like, I like this movie. So maybe if they did share, that would maybe happen.
So I have two theories left, but I'm gonna read the shorter of the two because the other one is like a novel,
All right.
and I don't want to be reading for like 15 minutes.
All right.
All right, but this one actually does have to do with the kind of what's going on in the world with the AI and stuff. So this one is The Matrix. The machines are actually the good guys.
Ooh.
All right, so the fan theory is straightforward. The machines in the Matrix franchise are actually the good guys because by the time of creating the Matrix, that's the best option for saving humanity. Based on the history provided in the films, we know that the following. Humanity created AI around the turn of the 21st century. Number 2, the real year is 2699 or so. Number 3, the Matrix is based on the peak of human civilization, according to Smith, and seems to be based on the 1990s. Number 4, based on the second Renaissance shorts in the Animatrix, the machines in 01 had an economy so powerful that human countries couldn't compete, exhiberating tensions between humanity and the machines. Number 5, Operation Dark Storm and the nuclear weapons were used in the war, which would have decimated the client/ecosystem. Now, if we use 2000 as a year that their history deviates from ours, we can assume that the climate change has actually started occurring. If the machine's economy was greatly outpacing that of humanity, I would assume that their carbon footprint was quite sizable unless they somehow achieved 100% clean energy from day one. Even if we assume that their economic activity left absolutely zero impact on the environment, we can assume that the human countries would have increased their economic activity to compete with the machines, with an attendant increase in environmental impact. Bottom line, climate change could have continued in the Matrix timeline, possibly to a greater extent, and that's before the war. Then the war breaks out. Operation Dark Storm happens. This breaks into the environment. No or minimum sunlight. Say that again?
Did I
No,
freeze?
no, you're still here. You're still here. No or minimum sunlight could cause plant life to engage in photosynthesis to a fraction of what it was prior, which would in turn wreak havoc with the carbon dioxide oxygen balance in the air. Add in the economic activity happening on both sides of the same war, even with more environmental impact. You both have both sides using nukes freely by the end of the war, which further environmental consequences came from. Basically, between Operation Dark Storm, nuclear weapons, and the economic systems of humanity and the machines, both before and during the war, climate change would have been exuberated to an insane degree, possibly dooming human life on Earth long term. The machines realize this, and since they cannot leave the planet, I think one of the comics mentions that some sort of nanotechnology within the clouds prevents the machines from passing through them. They realize that even if they eventually win the war, they would inherit a barren planet. So they create the Matrix to effectively warehouse humanity while the climate sorts itself out. The machines initially create the Paradise Matrix, thinking that a utopia is the best simulation. Doesn't work. Do they swing in an opposite direction, which also doesn't work? Then the current incarnation, even with the cycle of day one, even with the cycle of the one, they think they can run it indefinitely with a reboot happening every century or so. This is part of the reason the architect tells Neo that one door leads to the extinction of humanity, yet has the door always? The environment isn't ready for humanity to be reintroduced on a mass scale, but when it is, choosing the door is an option. By controlling the door, the architect can control the reintroduction of humanity into the environment to a certain extent, and when the environment becomes viable again. That is the end of his theory. He used economic a shitload through that theory. And I didn't realize that until, because I read it before, and I'm thinking now, man, I said economic like 20 times. His theory does have some proof in it, but it does have some holes in it. Because even the writer here says this has a few holes in it, and the Animatrix makes it clear that humans started the war, or at least made the war inevitable. Morpheus also makes it clear that the machines heavily relied on solar power, which is why humans basically destroyed the atmosphere and blocked out the sun, which he does. Machine altruism ended when they figured out that given enough time, humans will be able to attempt to destroy them. That's the cycle that Neo breaks when he performs a selfless act to save the machines from Smith. Which makes sense. But what do you think about that theory?
That one was like, as you said, if you keep saying economic, it was deep. That one was deep. There's a lot into the Matrix. You know what I mean? There's a lot that goes on into it, and this just gives you another. It gives me another personally way to think about it.
I mean, I follow stuff like on Reddit because I'm a Reddit guy. That we're living in a simulation, and some of the stuff is like, oh, okay, I can see that, and some of the stuff is like, what the hell are you like? You got to be high to think. And I think the Matrix kind of plays in, like people play off the Matrix that kind of got that going. I'm not saying it started it, but it's just I don't know, man. What's like whether it's real? Like you've heard that. I don't know if you've ever heard the theory that what if we were all just living one person's dream?
Yeah.
Well, this guy's dream is pretty boring if he's dreaming about me, but yeah, man, I don't know. It's some good stuff with the Matrix, but AI is good, so I'm pretty sure people will be happy about that theory now.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
So, Tone, that is our fan theories for the week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys like something like this, let us know. It's not so much clips, it's more of us discussing and talking about what the fans think in the movie universe. We like to keep our pulse on things, even though some of these theories were a few years old, but it's kind of cool to read stuff like this every once in a while and, throw it out there. Let us know what you guys think about them. If this is something you want us to do in the future, or if you're like, one time's good enough. We tried. But any closing thoughts on this, Tone?
It's always interesting to think of. I do it all the time with a lot of movies with my friends. Katie will watch a movie and I'll be like, did you know this is like I just did with Broken Arrow, and you laughed because it's so ridiculous. Some theories are so far out there that it actually makes it more kind of exciting and enjoyable if you think about it. So you presented a lot of good ones that made me think that way.
Yeah, and same with you. It's good to think outside the box, as I say.
It sure is. It sure is.
All right, my man. Before we get into the Sugar Baggies soundtrack pick of the week, just gonna do some, as I say, housekeeping here with our plugs. Tone, let everybody know what's going on the Hookup and the James Bond show, my man.
The Hookup will be returning this weekend, Sunday. I'm looking at releasing an episode. Got a lot of music has been released since the last time we talked. Really excited to dig deep and really get back into it. I definitely know that next week or the week after, I do have a guest, Mike, who's been on the show before. He's going to come on and we're going to talk a lot of new music and a lot of music just released in Chicago, which is always a great conversation. Just trying to look and expand that. James Bond, we're going every week for the rest of these James Bond films. We got 5 more left. Next week will be Casino Royale. So we're excited to get that, getting that all wrapped up. And what do you got going on, my man?
Before we get to me, if you guys want to see Adam in pain, watch the last James Bond.
Oh yeah, you wanted to go for hours.
Just him ranting about Die Another Day. This has made me laugh.
He's classic when he goes off.
Yeah, check that one out. That was the last episode I dropped yesterday on the Penguin Network. For me, Cotton and I did a new episode of Frame for Frame where we actually went through the 1997 Anaconda with the 2025 Jack Black Paul Rudd versions, which is very enjoyable. Have you seen the new one?
No, and that's I want to, because with your Toxic Avenger one, I watched the new Toxic Avenger, and then it was like I watched like 4 weeks after you did the episode, and then I went back and watched your episode. So what I want to do is, did you rent Anaconda? Is that what you did?
No, I actually that's another one that had a double sale. I got the 4K Anaconda 2025 and the 1997 version for
you were
$20
me during the week, and it made me that's what sucks is like I only talk to Katie from 1 to 1:30 every day because that's how at work So you'll be sending out a lot of stuff, and your John Voight gifts this week really made me smile, and I want to tell you that in person. So
I appreciate it, man. He's the best part of that universe.
Yes, he's we used to kid around at how many times he changes his dialect in the film. It's like he doesn't stick with it, like changes a couple times, his shimmy shama, just really ridiculous stuff, man. But I was excited because it like just popped up that you guys did it, and I'm like, I love the original and I want to see the new one. So
yeah, definitely check it out, man. It's I enjoyed it. Like spoiling, it's like the way I felt. I liked it. Me and Jenny watched it together, and she really liked it too. It's
Cool.
it's a kind of gives you that like fourth wall breaking stuff, but it's definitely worth it.
I will always, even honestly, Sophia's watched Minecraft
Mhm.
a couple times, and I got nothing bad to say about Jack Black for when he just plugs in and does his thing because it's Jack Black, you know?
No, I think I really like Jack Black. The thing that worries me, and I said this on our show, is like, man, he's getting like really big, and it worries for his health. Like his,
Oh, it's hell. Yeah,
you know,
you're not wrong about that.
he's doing like the fester no neck, and I'm like, man, Jack, you gotta. I love you, man. Just kind of slow down a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
it's just because of the health thing. But besides that, I like Jack Black a lot. I like
yeah,
his films.
yeah.
But we did a frame for frame. Besides that, I have been where if you've been following me on Twitter, most of my stuff has been mostly stuff related to my business, Penguin Imprints. Been posting a lot of shirts there that are Chicago related. Just dropped a new Chicago style with the Chicago Tavern Pizza and Chicago Dog. Also dropped a lowrider model, and I dropped a Lucha Libre model that my buddy Maximilian Boyso wanted really bad. So I made that up. It took me a few days to make that with some input from you guys, the Penguins, and actually the Bums help. Peter and Joey P actually gave me some pointers on what they wanted in it too. So check out Penguin Imprints. I have shirts on there also that help out charities such as the Fuck Ice shirt, the Fuck Ice stickers. I also have the shirt for missing indigenous women, which is a women's shirt, but its proceeds go to the Missing Sisters organization, which is a native indigenous organization that helps with find cases and hire private investigators to help find these women. And I also got a bunch of cool stuff on there. I release new stuff every week just to keep like stuff flowing for the business. So check me out there. Also check out the Penguin sadistic.penguin printify shop with all the stuff related to our shows there that you can buy and get merch there as well. And those proceeds go actually help with the paying of our show bills.
Very awesome. Very awesome. And maybe soon you could get a commercial together we could play on the show here to do your shirt.
Yeah. I am
That'd be
working
cool.
on that. So much stuff is going on, but I have been working on it to see which way I want to play it. But yeah, I'll definitely get something together.
Very cool.
Thank you, my friend.
No problem.
Besides that, check out it's getting drafty in here. Brian is recovering from a surgery. But he will be back soon. He's losing his mind. I text him almost every day. We text each other, and he tells me he's losing his mind from sitting on the couch. So he's ready. He's itching to get back on that microphone. He'll be coming back, hopefully stronger and better than ever. We will be back. We usually do it every 2 weeks. Now we're doing a weekly podcast for these 2 weeks because next week is the Oscars, and me and Tone have not given our traditional Oscar show for the At the Show podcast. So we are going to go over our Oscar predictions for some of the categories and have some fun next week, Tone. I'm really looking forward to that.
Always a good time. This will be, I believe, our third time doing it. And it'll be a good time. And honestly, out of all of our years, last year was good. This year's even better with the movies. So
yeah, this year is stacked. Me and Baloney are actually on. Baloney got me back on Letterbox.
Yeah.
So I've been. I see you're on there. I see your reviews.
You do really good reviews, man. I've read every one of your reviews on there.
I appreciate it. So I've been trying to go through the Oscar films and see them and watch them and write the review. But yeah, man, I'm really excited about this upcoming Oscars. I want to see who's going to win. It's a toss up for a lot of categories.
Yeah.
And that's always makes it the best. So looking forward to that, Tone. But with that, my friend, if you have nothing else to plug, we can go straight into the Sugar Baggy soundtrack pick of the week.
Let's do it.
Cool. Let's get into this sucker here. Oh my goodness. Oh, here you go.
The Sugar Baggy soundtrack pick of the week.
So we talked about the movie at the beginning of the show, and we'll bring it back and talk a little bit more about the movie, because when you sent me me, I think of random stuff. So when you sent me the movie immediately, the soundtrack, I was like, who was on the soundtrack? I remember it was released. And then I was like, Stabbing Westward, who I like quite a lot. Helmet, who I like quite a lot. I like the techno aspect to the soundtrack because that's what the movie is based on. So like Orbital, got that. But you also got, which is really unique, Bono and the Edge from U2 doing a song, God Lives Underwater. I have a friend who's huge into KMFDM, who are on the soundtrack. But what I really enjoyed was just how it mixed well into the movie. And it doesn't get talked about as much as it should, because a lot of these bands on here aren't like top artists on pop charts, but they're good. And Cop Shoot Cop and all this putting together on one soundtrack, it's really a good soundtrack. And you seeing the movie, you probably will agree.
Oh yeah, the soundtrack's really, really good. It plays very, very well into the the atmosphere, the concept of the film, which I really liked. I know it's funny that you brought this up, because I was actually looking at this the other day. I didn't know that Buckethead does a uncredited song called I Love My Parents. And, Buckethead is people who don't know Buckethead, it's basically a guitarist that shreds with a bucket on his head. And most of his stuff is instrumental. But that track's actually pretty nice. Have you listened to that one, I Love My Parents?
No. And honestly, I'm gonna check it out because I do like Buckethead.
Yeah. So that kind of cracked me up that he's in there, and I didn't know Buckethead was around that long, since '95.
I mean, Buckethead's been around a while. I do remember '99 seeing Incubus, Primus, and Buckethead at the Riviera downtown. So Buckethead's been around a while. But how many KFC buckets do you think he's gone through? No,
tons of them.
Tons of them. But
his head must smell like shit.
Oh yeah. But a cool industrial soundtrack for the film.
Yeah, great film. Of course, you have the Henry Rollins, his band's in there. One of the best punk guys out, of all time.
Which is ironic. You brought him up earlier in this movie, because he's actually in the movie too. So he's on the soundtrack, which is cool.
Yeah, that's a good pick, man. Helmet, like I said, great. I remember them from the Crows soundtrack.
Oh, good.
But yeah, just a nice little soundtrack that's get talked about a lot, man. So good pick.
Thank you very much.
All right, man. So that is our show for the week. We didn't go 2 hours, but sometimes less is more, as I say. We really appreciate everybody listening, watching, tweeting, texting, all that good stuff. We'll be back next week with our Oscar show, my friends. With that, Tone, you got anything closed out to say, my man?
Have a good week, everybody. And we'll see you next week for the Oscars.
Yes, sir. And be sure to check out The Hookup this Sunday.
Take care.
Thanks for listening to the At The Show podcast, a Sadistic Penguin Studios production.
Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?